Hello friends, welcome back again here with Nothing Phone 1, which we are going to compare along with iPhone SE second generation. So you definitely must have a question कि iPhone SE कहाँ पर और Nothing Phone कहाँ पर? Obviously, hardware iPhone SE का बहुत ही कमजोर है in terms of camera, like you just have 12 megapixel and 7 megapixel in the front, that two single cameras, and Nothing Phone 1 you have 50 megapixel main camera and the ultra wide camera and 16 megapixel in the front. But the main question here is not about the hardware comparison, it's about the Apple software optimization of the photos versus the Nothing's hardware and optimization, of course. So let's check this out, whether an age old phone of Apple can still beat today Nothing. Obviously we will not be able to compare all the capabilities of the camera, especially the ultra wide, and yes, that's all, man. We will not be able to compare just the ultra wide. Otherwise, the front, the rear, the video, almost all capabilities are equally present in both the phones. So let's check this out. So before moving ahead, if you're new to this channel, then please subscribe to BTech, because with BTech we're trying to keep the reviews simple but important. Okay, so moving ahead. Now if I talk about the camera specs, then iPhone SE second generation has 12 megapixel in the rear with an aperture of 1.8. Nothing has two cameras, 50 megapixel main camera with an aperture of 1.9 and the ultra wide 50 megapixel with an aperture of 2.2. Now, as we know, the rear camera, the main sensor is a Sony IMX sensor and the ultra wide is a Samsung sensor. In the front, the iPhone SE second generation has 7 megapixel with an aperture of 2.2. Nothing has 16 megapixel with an aperture of 2.5. So even if I just talk about the main camera and the front camera, the specs may be lesser on iPhone SE. Aperture seems a bit good over here, but yes, overall the hardware is lower as compared to Nothing Phone 1. Let's see actually now with the camera samples and the video samples, is it the software winning versus the hardware, or the hardware actually wins versus the Apple? So if I talk about the first shot, which has been taken by the main lens in the daylight, the color accuracy on both is not exactly what it was. It was somewhere in the between. Nothing is more on the cooler side, iPhone is more on the warmer side. Details, if I talk about, I think equally it's pretty comparable on both. But Nothing, given the hardware it has of 50 megapixel, I was expecting more details after so many updates. So again, there downside over there. Talking about, I would say, the dynamic range and other aspects, it's still, I would say, it's equally fine on both. Color accuracy is still better on iPhone as compared to Nothing, but yeah, it is not accurate. It's more on the warmer side. Talking about the front camera, the Nothing phone's photo look pretty washed out. Like it's pretty on the too much on the cooler side, and the colors are that's why washed out. The iPhone has captured the colors, the details pretty well, I would say, better than Nothing at least. Both the cameras are not good, to be very honest, for the front piece, but at least yes, the dynamic range, the color, the details, the contrast is better on the iPhone as compared to the Nothing phone. A similar photo I've taken from the front lens, but here the sunlight is directly coming on the camera. I just wanted to see how both perform. Both are pretty washed out, and we can directly see the rays effect on the lens. But again, I would say the Nothing's color is more, again, kind of washed out. iPhone is trying to maintain the details, the contrast, and things are slightly better in iPhone. I wouldn't say it's very good as compared to Nothing, but yes, it's slightly better on the iPhone. Overall, both are, I would say, not able to handle the situation well. Coming to portrait photos, one thing I noticed that with iPhone SE, I had to come really close to the object, otherwise it did not actually put a portrait effect at all. With Nothing, I was able to do that from a decent distance, but your blur effect would have been compromised definitely. So I would say the distance that I have kept in this photo is actually the distance where the blur effect was coming natural on both. So details are good, colors are good on both, but again, I don't know why the Nothing is doing that whitewashing and it makes the object look very fair, whereas iPhone is capturing the color pretty accurately over here. So both are doing good job, but I would say again, in terms of colors, iPhone does overall a better job. So now we are recording in 4K 30 FPS. I'm walking at a normal pace. Here you can see the colors, the details, the noise, stabilization. Now I will walk faster just to see how the stabilization is. So yeah, so just turn around again.
I'm running right now. I'm not sure how the stabilization is.
In the previous video 4K 30 FPS the nothing stabilization was really bad, but in 1080p 60 FPS we find the story is totally different. The stabilization is good, the colors are good, the details are better, dynamic range and everything looks better than earlier.
So now I'm recording in 1080p 30 FPS. You can check here my stabilization, video color accuracy. I'm walking at a normal pace. Now I will just start walking faster. You can see how the stabilization is. Both the phones have 1080p 30 FPS frames per second capping.
Now in the night shots the story starts to change a bit. The nothing looks better over here in terms of the details, the noise is less, the photo is crisp, the colors are also good. So I would say night I think nothing has improved a bit as compared to at least iPhone SE. So the next shot again taken with the main lens, but here we also have the nothing photo taken in the night mode. So the center photo looks okay, that is taken in the default mode. It's comparable to iPhone SE, although slightly the details are missing and the color is a bit off. Whereas the iPhone, I really love the colors, how the way it captures, and it's very close to natural. Although it's still more on the warmer side. I would give a big thumbs up to the nothing in the night mode. The details are good. It has slightly an HDR effect, but overall it's doing a good job in all the three. Okay, so now talking about the front lens, a very big disappointment, especially I would say nothing over here. The photo looks very dark, the details are missing, and it's totally bad. In the night mode, nothing still does okay, but it looks very artificial, something like an acrylic painting, especially my face, and the colors are pretty off as well. But yeah, that's fine. iPhone SE is also pretty bad given the sensor is weaker over here, just 7 megapixel. But yes, nothing you need to improve a lot in the front camera. Now talking about the portrait mode in the night, I think both actually don't meet the expectations. iPhone at least meet the expectations in terms of like keeping the person out of the background properly, so it properly separates it out. We can see the name on the whiteboard and the flowers are properly blurred out. Whereas in iPhone, the blur effect is not accurate. It's not able to separate out the person from the background. The details are fine on both, I would say. Colors again, I always love the way iPhone algorithm brings out the colors. It's very close to natural. Um, in nothing, I think it's fine. It's okay. Like it's a normal photo, but yeah, it doesn't look really like a portrait mode photo.
So now we are recording in 4K 30 FPS from the rear camera. So now I'm walking slowly. You can notice the jitteriness, the color accuracy and other things. I will walk faster so that let's see how the stabilization is.
Now this video sample is in 1080p 60 fps. The stabilization is good in nothing, especially when you compare to 4K 30 fps. iPhone, it was better in the daylight as compared to now. The colors, I would say both are doing good. Details I find more on the nothing phone, and overall I feel video quality better on the nothing phone. Obviously the color accuracy, nothing has to work on a lot on that. Otherwise I feel the video is good on nothing phone.
So now I'm recording in 1080p 30 fps from the front camera, as nothing phone only supports 1080p 30 fps and no 60 fps. So you can check my voice, stabilization, dynamic range, and the noise. Both the front cameras are not good, to be very honest.
Okay, so here we are at the end of the video. We have compared both the phones extensively in different conditions. What do you think? Let me know your verdict in the comment. But if you ask me, it was actually the Apple software which I feel was doing a really great job. Nothing is doing really great job in some areas, especially when I talk about night. Yes, Apple SE was not able to cope up with there, but again, if I talk and about the Apple's algorithm, especially the color accuracy, the closeness to the actual photo details, I would say still Apple is doing really good job given the hardware iPhone SE has. Nothing really powerful hardware, but yes, the front camera needs a lot of improvement. Video 4K 30 fps, the stabilization is too bad. I would say 1080 60 fps is still pretty good. So if you're using nothing phone, I've always suggested that it's always a better option to use 1080p 60 fps rather than using 4K 30 fps in the nothing phone. In iPhone, I think video is outstanding always, as always. Only I've seen Pixel and the Samsung Ultra come really close or even compete and go further ahead than Apple's videography. So overall, I feel yes, both are kind of a winners in their segment. Apple software is really good given the hardware. Nothing's hardware is really good, but the software top up and the improvement will do a great job in the future. So let's wait for Android 13 on Nothing phone, which I've heard that the camera has really improved in Android 13. So if that is actually the case, then I think Nothing phone would be really great with Android 13 and the camera would ace it in that segment. So that's all for today. Let me know what do you think, whether it was Apple software that was winning or the Nothing's hardware it was winning. Let me know your comments below, and if you like the content then please subscribe to BTech, hit the bell icon and share it with your friends. Till then, bye bye.